So who here already has a second brain? Nice. Who here is using Cloud Code or Codex? Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. I guess then we can get the party started. So officially, welcome. I hope that you won't regret the next hour that you're investing here. One of the main messages that I wanted to come across here is that you don't need a better AI. AI is already good. The LLMs today are just like magical. What you're missing is the system. And this is what we'll be discussing today. Basically, an empty folder, one prompt that I have that we'll work off, and then we'll create the second brain. So my story started 15 months ago, so before the South Summit last year. So I was sick and tired of using ChatGPT, copy-pasting stuff. It was just like ridiculous. So I was like, okay, what if there is a system that I can build, literally files and folders? Who of you is a software engineer or is coding? Okay, a few, good. So this session is not technical. Whatever you will see here, I'm not a software engineer, so whatever is being built here, anyone can do. It's just a lot of trial and error, right? So I built this system. It remembers my work, my decisions, my tools, my tastes, basically a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, it's just files and folders. And this is, of course, like an oversimplified version, right? It has some memory, it has some skills, it has some agents, it has some tools, you know, simple stuff, like if we're looking at the general scaffolding. So throughout these 15 months, I've been using this system, and it played out pretty well. So I managed to build and sell my company in 12 months. Of course, it's not just thanks to this system, but it played like a really, really, really big part into scaling what we do without hiring a lot of people. It's by accident created a revenue stream for me as well, because I started to offer this second brain to others, so they can just take it and run with this. And people are amazed when you start to build yourself a system like this, how much you can do. What are the stuff that you can actually deliver? It's just like magic, right? And if you haven't done this before, it can be also addictive. So this is the disclaimer. So this session can get you addictive, especially if you have ADHD. Hello. And then, last but not least, what I was mentioning, that you don't need to have coding skills, but you can still build products. You can truly build an MVP. You can truly build even a product that like goes live and like makes money, right? And I think this is one of the biggest shifts where anyone can be a builder. You don't need to raise venture capital, although if there are some investors, yes, you still can, but that's not like the only path to start a startup, right? It does everything with me, sometimes for me, right? Projects, inboxes, finances, priorities, decisions, everything. And it keeps expanding. I keep adding new stuff. So it's never the same a week ago than it's today, right? So if you start thinking how your work is evolving, what you're working on, what are the new areas, the brain grows, right? The system grows, and it compounds, right? So if there is one key element that most people miss is context. Who heard about context engineering? That's my point. So AI intelligence is there, but AI doesn't have the right context. And by context, I mean how you're doing things, how your company operates for this process, for this workflow. If I want to implement tool A, how do I do it? If I want to send this marketing campaign, what? So anything that right now you like text John or Maria on WhatsApp or like call them, this should be codified. And this is context, right? So if you start thinking about what is the bottleneck, it's not AI. It is context. And the problem is that for many, many, many years, we've been neglecting this as like companies, teams, and also individuals, because it's just another document that I need to create and no one will ever use it. But now, it will be used by your system, by your agents, by your skills, right? So this is kind of like an old thing that right now AI is pushing you to take care of, right? And besides context, I think there are 4 things that really made me use it, maybe a bit in an addictive way. So the first one is that you can work outside of your domain. You can do literally anything. And you can start building a system within these domains, right? Software engineer, writer, marketing, whatever, right? And it's not just that you're creating a single agent. You're creating a process that is enabling you to wear this hat of a product manager for 10 minutes and then switch the hat to be someone else. And it's not like easy to start, but it compounds and it grows. What I find also super cool is that you can have stuff done in the background. So right now, as we speak, there are some agents doing work for me, right? So that's also something that you don't start with on day one, but as you start figuring out what do you really want and what does the good mean, I think this is one of the key questions when you're building the system. What does the good output mean? And oftentimes when we work, it's just like, oh, but we need to change this and that, and there's another version, and you change it. Like with AI, if you kind of like reverse engineer it, it's like, this is the perfect state, and those are the criteria that needs to be met. It sounds simple, but it's really not, right? So having these agents running in the background requires you to be like, what does the good mean? And also what they can and cannot do, right? Of course, what is the beauty of the system that you're building is that you own the context. And by owning the context locally, files and folders, it's LLM agnostic. One day you can use Anthropic, another day you can use OpenAI, another day you can use Gemini, right? The context lives. And last but not least, it's never about re-explaining yourself once the system is perfect. It's never perfect, but you're kind of like getting there, right? So I have almost 2,000 files, 50 skills, 32 agents, and 11 tools connected, like Gmail, calendar, like whatever you're using, you can connect to the system, right? Okay, so now finally the big question, so what it actually is, right? You can see this is a screenshot from my GitHub repository, and this is just me, what I've decided to build it on. But it can be anything. It can be your Confluence, it can be your SharePoint, basically anywhere where your files and folders live, right? This is just a place that is best suited to work with, for example, Claude Code or Codex, because you're working in a coding environment, although you might not need to be coding, right? Okay, so fundamentals before we start building. It's not a better prompt, although you will be prompting a lot. So we have CloudMD file. Who has built already a CloudMD file before? Okay, cool. So basically, this file, if you're using Claude Code as an example, is loaded into every single conversation. So you need to start thinking, whatever you're discussing, this is the context that needs to be here. Like your kind of like rules, and also references to other points in your second brain. So if we're talking about X, go and look up here. So kind of like rules. Then you have the memory. This is where the context lives. Everything about your projects, about your decisions, decision log. That was something that I started to do a few months ago. I have a decision log for everything I do. And what's more, for one of the products, I have a co-CEO that is telling me if it's a good decision or not. And I obey to his orders, 99%. It's pretty good. Then, of course, in the second brain, you have your tools. You connect your Gmail, you connect your calendar, you connect your CRM, whatever. This part, I think it's very interesting if we talk about SaaS apocalypse. Who believes that SaaS apocalypse will happen, that there will be no SaaS tools? Okay. So there is a pro and con argument here. So I built my own CRM, meaning I have a database on Supabase, and all of my records, contacts, everything is there, all of the notes. I also have project management system there. At the end of the day, it's a database. And again, I'm not a software engineer. I just heard that you need a structured data, you have columns, and that's it, right? And rows. So in theory, this is an argument that you don't need a SaaS, you don't need HubSpot, you don't need Salesforce, you just need a database, and then agents access it, etc. But then on the other hand, you need to maintain it, you need to manage it. So in this case, if you want to outsource it, maybe it's better to have this HubSpot or all Salesforce, right? Then you have skills, and skills can be used by agents. Skills, you can think of that there are hard skills and soft skills in AI. The hard skill is a very well-defined process. So for example, writing a newsletter takes like 10 steps. Brainstorming, research, writing first draft, evaluating, right? And this can be a single skill that I will show you in a second, right? You just type slash write newsletter, and then it's going on for like a half an hour, whatever, and it's just like doing this, right? Very specific thing. And then there is a soft skill, which can be just about your taste, about your general guidelines, and can be like a front-end design skill, right? That you're just like giving to the system about the principles that it's using, right? And then, of course, you have agents. Agents can invoke skills. Agents can access tools. So an agent can read your inbox, then draft responses, and then send responses to people. Basically, agents, you can think of them as like a mini employee that doesn't need to have a full instruction on how to do stuff. It will just figure it out. Or maybe it won't, and it will tell you, right? And then you have hooks. Basically, any sort of automations that you can set up that it will trigger something needs to happen, deterministic. Okay, so if you're already using some sort of AI tools, if it's static, you need to reintroduce the stuff too many times. It forgets some things, right? Manual switching. Right? So it's just painful oftentimes, right? But if it's engineered, and if you keep adjusting this, it compounds, it's connected, it's becoming basically a better system, right? So that's kind of like the premise here. So we will start using the system, actually, in a second. So now I will turn off full screen. We will go into terminal. We'll make it larger. Is it okay now? Okay, cool. So, disclaimer. I'm using a terminal, but you can be using Claude Code, you can be using, Claude Desktop app, you can be using Codex, anti-gravity, many different ways, right? So this can be scary for someone that is not using terminal, and you can start seeing some weird commands. Don't be. This is all normal. Okay. So a few examples of what I can ask my second brain. It is just know stuff. I was like, okay, so what did I do this week, and what are my priorities? So then it was like, oh, okay, so Ivo wants the stuff that is in his daily overview. So it loaded this skill, checked my database, and then it told me, okay, Ivo, this is what happened this week. Those are some statistics about the revenue, new prospects. This is what we developed in the product, right? And then it told me, okay, right now you need to focus on these things. I just literally ask a single question. No context, no go here, go there. No, it just knows, right? So the system is built in a way where you can just prompt it something very general as if you ask a colleague or yourself, and it just gives you answer, right? Okay, another example. I was like, okay, so how many people downloaded my free resources in 30 days? So it knows what are the resources, where to look for them, etc. It's like, okay, so I will query the second brain database, da-da-da-da-da-da. Then it's doing the magic that I don't understand. And it's like, oh, okay. So over 700 people downloaded various resources. Here are the stats. Now we can work with this. You can have more questions. That's it, right? Because again, the system is set up in a way, the context is engineered, it knows where to look for it. And then maybe last example, I'm like, okay, which emails do I need to reply urgently? So what it's doing its magic. It's going into my email, and then it's giving me, okay, those are the people that you need to reply to. And then if I'm lazy, or if I just want to delegate this to AI, I would be like using the email writer agent, be like, draft responses, fact check it. And it will just right now go into my system, find all the context about each of them, and just start writing responses. And we can go back to kind of like see how it goes. Cool. Any questions, comments before we jump into build parts? Is anything unclear or you want to ask something? Yeah.
What's your routine on a daily basis? You go, you open the terminal, and you throw those questions there?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it's either a totally random question, like I just showed you, or I have very specific skills that I start the day with, so I have a skill/overview, which basically like tells me what is going on in the business, what I need to do, anything, right? And it's just like connected with the right things. So you can also think with skills in terms of rituals. What kind of rituals you have daily, weekly, monthly, and then, for example, you can just have this and it's going, right?
Thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, so what we'll build together today is second brain, and we'll set up an information architecture, one of the most important things. We'll add some context, like memory files, we'll just like, it will be made up. We'll build an agent, we'll build some skills, we'll connect a real tool, and we will run it all some real jobs, ideas coming from you. I hope they will be like achievable to do. And then at the end, we will even create a website where we will gate this content. So I will just like show you that you can even super easily launch stuff live, and then you will be able to actually access it. Okay, so we're starting with the prompt. This is the prompt. I can actually make it a bit. Okay, so what it says. You're helping me build my first second brain. This folder is empty. We'll build everything from scratch. The goal is not the knowledge base. It's to stop re-explaining myself to AI and build a semi-autonomous system that co-drives my operations. Then I gave some of my context about me. So this is also what you will be able to do. Then some rules, and then basic like phases of how we will be building this. So like researching me, then it will be asking me questions, and the list goes on, right? So it's literally a single prompt that I will just copy, add it here. I will start Claude. Hope the internet is working. Okay, cool. So I just added the prompt. And let's see what will happen. This is the good and bad thing about doing live stuff, that you never know what will happen. So let's see. This morning when I was prepping some final stuff, Anthropic has an outage, so Claude was not working. I was like, yay! Okay, so while this is happening, any ideas, suggestions, what you want to build? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, where can we get the presentation and the prompt?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to follow you along, or is it?
At the end, if we reach the time, there will be a website where you will be able to download it. And we'll build it in the next 40 minutes. Let's hope.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you. One of the tasks that take the most of the time in my everyday life is that I create and develop talks, lessons, and classes for teachers all over the world, so in different languages. And that means telling them what to do in almost like every single minute in a 1 hour, 90 minute, 180-minute lesson, right? That in short is one document that describes the whole session, but a lot of links to another document that share, okay, you have to show this image, then connect to this, then this and this and this, and then translate it to different language, right? That is like the You can save my life. That is like something, I can build something around
No
it.
pressure, but you can save my life. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that I'm very interested in building.
Yeah, 100%. So in your case, do you have a template? Or, okay, so if you have a template, then a template is a skill. Because a skill would then take this template with instructions that, hey, you're right now creating this X, whatever the document is, in different languages for different people. Here you need to follow these like steps, etc. And then it fills it out. But what is super important in this case and in any cases that you're building are evaluations, which basically means if what AI gave you is what you wanted. So it's like partially this, what does the good mean, but also what is correct, right? And you can do it in two ways. One is just by another prompt, so AI is checking another AI, but that doesn't always work because AI can be like hallucinating, lying, or doing those two things at the same time, right? So the other thing is that you have hard-coded rules. So literally, for example, if it's forbidden to use a word apple, you can hard-code it that the eval won't pass if the word apple is used, or I don't know, test@gmail.com, right? So in your case, super easy, we can create such skill, and it will be dummy, of course, and you can reuse it, but it will be up to you to later then test it and kind of like start understanding where AI is making mistakes, where it's not good enough because your instructions were not precise enough, right? So it's never like a one attempt, it will be like happening over time. But basically, it's just to start, 15 minutes. And you can have a skill, and you can just like run it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's see what it did. Maybe I will make it larger. It broke.
Excuse me, Igor.
Yeah.
Just a quick question here as
Yeah.
well. Like as we know, like we're using Claude, right, or any other one, you use tokens, right? And it can run up really fast, depends what kind of subscription you have or whatever. But my question here is really like if you want to have these kind of agents running, like apart from the cost of time on building it, how much does it cost to run it essentially? Like is it free or is it like what do you pay? I don't know, $500 per month to have all these agents running? Like to understand a little bit the
Yes, 100%.
economics behind it.
Economics, yes. So I have one Claude Max 20 X subscription, which is $200 a month. But I'm like a hardcore user. I would say that $100 a month, this is, for example, like a Claude 5X, is enough. But we're living in this weird moment when probably soon-ish the prices will go up because all of these big labs are subsidizing these tokens. Like actually they're paying like thousands, not hundreds for our work, right? So for now, use it until you can. And then what is the future? The future is that you will be able to have local models that will be able to handle some like simpler tasks. And the local model, like you need to just pay for the electricity, right? This is still like a very geeky thing, and the open source models are not good yet, but they will be, right? This is this competition China between US kind of a thing. So I would say right now, TLDR, $100, and it will be amazing. $20, this is for the Pro subscription for Claude. It's okay, but not perfect, right? So this is all the subscription. So there are no like crazy API costs, right? There are, if you're running stuff in the background, then you need to have like cron jobs that are like activating, and then they're using the API, right? But for your use case, it's just like $100, let's say, yeah. Okay, so so it did the research about me. Yeah, we can skip that. Then some things are like unknown, so we would need to clarify. But then it's like, okay, so this is a playback. Who am I? Iwo Szapar, operator, Did I get this right? For the sake of just like going with this, I say yes. So then it will go to another phase and it will start going, okay, so here is the snapshot. So he knows that I'm operator founder, I build systems, So I have a few projects right now. I have my own product. Then the company that bought us, I also do some stuff for them, so it knows that it needs to create such projects. And right now it has questions. What is the single recurring task that eats most of my time or energy? I get too many emails and I want help with that. Oh, and by the way, who is speaking with their computers? Yes, this is magic. I strongly advise you to start speaking with your computers. Okay, so this is 1. 2, where do the 3 projects rank this quarter? Where is the number 1 by priority? I'm working on all of them. And then the third one, solo or with help? Let's keep it simple, solo. Okay, so it's doing the thing. So maybe in the meantime, I will create a skill for you, because why not? Okay, so I have this thing called skill creator. And maybe, can you maybe come over for a second? Can you, in like few sentences, describe what you want?
I need to write a training map that describes the whole session of a 19-minute session divided by introductory time, main problem, and closing.
Okay, I will maybe add something. If something is not clear before creating this skill, or there are some other elements, just before creating, tell me. Okay, so this skill creator, this is official skill by Anthropic. You can access it on your own. What is super cool is that they figure out pretty good evals, how to structure the system. Okay, cool. So, in our second brain building part, it knows already about me. And right now, it's like, okay, Ivo, it's an architecture time. So for architecture, it's like, okay, we need to create a Claude MD, which is everything that will be describing what you're doing. Then we have the README file. Then we have very simple memory, because we are keeping the simple profile goals, decisions, examples. And then what it's suggesting, the skill that it will build, it will be a triage inbox, so it will be reading my emails, sorting them, and writing stuff in my voice. Because I also have a skill called Ivo Voice, and this is writing in my tone. So I'm like, go for it. Okay. So your question, your skill. So this is a very good tactic to kind of like prompt AI to ask you stuff, so it's not assuming it, right? So we are having questions. What does the skill take as an input each time you run it? Any topic? What is it? I mean, of course, right now it's assuming it's me, so we would need to probably type something else.
Usually it's the result of a needs assessment in which we understand where are the gaps in some knowledge of the student.
It's a needs assessment?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Detail level, let's say it's full script, good. Format, minute, any specific formats?
In-person training.
It's in person. Okay, and then the skill processes the split, or you have a fixed split? Fixed one, good. Okay, cool. It won't be perfect because like you need to give more context and you need to also give some like template example, but it will create something. Okay, so right now in our second brain, it's happening, it's building something, I have no idea what. We can start seeing. So it's building my memory with my profile, so it's adding all of the details about me. It's building the Claude MD, so the stuff that is loaded into every single conversation. Then yeah, it will then continue. It's creating goals. I think this is one of the things that will actually help you just do the right things that you should be doing at that time. Because oftentimes we don't know what are our priorities. And if you have a clear log of goals, I know it sounds like work 101. But what I see a huge value with AI is that it can help, it can fix how we work. That's kind of like, because oftentimes it's meeting to meeting, deadline to deadline, ad hoc to ad hoc. And here, if you start thinking in systems, if you start thinking in habits, if you start codifying work, then you can transform from the chaos to something that is more repeatable, more something that you can predict. And I know it might sound like utopia if you feel like, oh, but my client or like my company, like start with small things. Like if you start building this system for yourself, you will help yourself, right? What I'm doing right now with the company after the acquisition is that I built my own second brain internally that I'm just like using. I'm putting all of the transcripts there from every single meeting. I'm adding all the documents that people share with me. I basically AI rules me in this company. Like I do everything what it tells me. But it's right because it has the right context. And I do everything possible to make sure that AI has the context. And if there is, again, like one thing after this session, make sure that whatever system you're building, ideally the context is being added regularly, right? On autopilot. Okay, Gmail MCP is down this session. So use GOG CLI. So there's this conversation between MCPs and CLI. CLI can like access it directly through terminal commands. So in my case, I have access to my emails through the GOG CLI. I can share with you later. That's not important. Okay, so we have our skill in progress. I will maybe just skip for the sake of just building something. So intro, main problem, closing, then there's something later. It's fine if it's the first one? Yeah? Then you said the skill should be with the needs assessment. What should that assessment cover? And now we can just like choose a few things, and it's just like coming up with some suggestions. And then we're again submitting, and it's continuing to create this skill. Okay? Okay, so we're coming back. It found my inbox magically, so this is great. So it will be able to help me with emails. Great. Any other skills, agents, workflows that, because we can start processes many at the same time. What's on your mind? There you go.
Basically, I work as an analyst for an investment firm, so it's difficult sometimes to source companies from like ventures or companies, so something in that field. For example, specific biotech companies or startups.
Okay, perfect.
In Spain.
Let's do it.
They keep on coming up.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like you to create a skill that will help me research best startups and scale-ups in Spain that we can invest in. You can use the general web search or my any site MCP to track stuff on LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, etc.
Quick question.
Yeah?
What voice tool are you using to transcribe what you're saying to?
Yes, so I'm using Monologue. This little icon,
Thank you.
The blue one, yes. But almost everyone uses Whisperflow. That's kind of like a go-to. One thing I mentioned, AnySite MCP. Anyone using AnySite MCP? Anyone heard about last 30 days skill? Basically, it accesses LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, but through API. So it's not going to the website because AI, LLMs are blocking this kind of stuff. It's going directly through API. If there's one MCP that you want to pay for, and research is one of the important things, I would suggest checking them out. I'm not getting paid, and this is unlimited access, but it's just through MCP. Okay. What's your investment focus for Spanish startups? AI, SaaS, B2B, early stage, scale up, sector agnostic. Yeah.
LinkedIn seems that those LinkedIn API.
Can you maybe hold it? Yeah.
Can you tell once again the LinkedIn API?
Yes, any site.
Any site.
Any site, yeah.
Okay, thank
Any
you.
site, yeah. Okay, we will just go with some, yeah. Then what we have is asking what is the output, okay? I will show you something in a second, how you can show the output that is not markdown. So let's do the HTML, so it looks nicer. And then how should each company be scored? So it's already coming up with some scoring system, which then you can, of course, come up with later to adjust it. And then, voila, let's make it happen. Okay. What is happening here? Oh, and by the way, if that looks like a chaos to you that we're switching, that's kind of like a lot of people that have multiple agents working at the same time. That's kind of like how it works. It's not ideal. Probably at some point someone will figure out something better, but right now it's a lot of context switching, right? Okay, so your training map skill is built. The draft is written. Even did some tests, right? And right now is proposing even some test cases to actually run it, right? So we will say, yeah, go for it. Or maybe go for it end to end. It needs to be awesome. Encouragement. Okay, cool. So this skill in progress, it's basically saying that it will check these specific types of companies. It will deliver it in a nice format, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're coming back to finalizing our second brain boilerplate. It did some checking of my email, so it's already kind of like proving that it's working, right? There are some people that I need to go back to. There are some things that we can ignore, so we can just move to the next phase, and that's it, right? Okay. Your skill is working, the training one, and then this one is also working. Okay. Any other pain points, workflows, automations that are driving you crazy that you would like to build? Go ahead. Okay, so we have two.
Hello. Okay, I travel a lot because of my work. It's a nightmare to do all the logistics, to be sure that I'm on a hotel near the event, that I know the traffic to the airport. So anything that can be created to run it is going to be great.
Super cool idea. Actually, I built this skill a few weeks ago for like house hunting, because I had the same thing, like I need to travel here, I need to like talk with all these agents, they're Italians, I don't speak Italian, right? Where to go from A to B. So basically, maybe I will first show you this skill and then we'll build yours. What is that? Okay, it's here. Explain how this skill works. Okay, and then we'll create yours. So in this case, what will probably work best is if you connect your second brain to the browser. And here there are like millions of ways to do it. The simplest one is just to have, and I will show you, a Claude Chrome plugin. I don't know why it's not starting, but it should. So in general, you just install Chrome Claude Code plugin. It's like an extension. And then you just, it looks like this. And this is the path for your second brain, to do it, right? And then you can basically have a skill that knows your preferences. In mine, I even had the, like an instruction on to put it on Google Maps and kind of like points to each other, right? And then it also can use WhatsApp. So if you need to communicate with the hotel or like with organizers, it can also like do it for you. So that's kind of what I was doing. So it was like listing all of the like houses in like specific areas, messaging them, and then handling outreach on WhatsApp or directly on the page that I was finding. And then when people were coming back to me, I was messaging them back in Italian, no idea. And then he was like scheduling and like tracking the whole thing, and it like scheduled 12 meetings for like 2 days, right? So that was super cool. Okay, so skill creator. I want you to create a skill that will help with my travel arrangements because I'm sick of all the logistics. So I want you to think about what is needed to be my concierge and handle everything, and then I will approve it. This is another kind of like a tactic, right? When you're not giving too much context, but you're kind of like forcing it to think about something, and then you can approve it if kind of like you're lazy or just wanted to save some time. Okay, so this one we can remove. Okay, we have the Startup Scout one. So how do you want to evaluate the skill? So it's basically like asking us what are our evils. We just say like everything, go full online. So so let's see. Okay, so we're done with creating the second brain. We have our CloudMD. We have our memory. So it knows who I am. It knows my goal to automate 90% of non-strategic work. I have some 3 projects. I have some decisions log. It has my actual voice, and everything is verified by online sources. It created a skill to triage my inbox, as you saw. It downloaded some emails, and then it also has an agent if I have some unusual tasks that it will handle, right? But of course, this is just something that we did in a few prompts without me giving all the context. It was just like showcase, right? So in your case, the key here will be all of the knowledge that you have in documents and all of the knowledge that you have in your heads. It will take weeks, I don't want to say months, but like weeks of like figuring this out, uploading this, adjusting this, testing the output, right? But I wanted to show you that it's possible just to do it in like 15 minutes, just to have a kind of like a scaffolding, right? But then you need to be using it daily, you need to be correcting it daily, you need to be expanding it daily, right? And it's a new habit, which is one of the toughest things, so we need to completely change the way how you work. So for example, most emails that I respond through Terminal. I schedule events in my calendar through Terminal, which sounds like, what? Like you go to Google or like Microsoft Office and no, I just do it from a single place, right? So these days, heavy users of AI have a single place that has all the context, is connected to all of the tools that they're using, and they basically have like a single window that they talk to, right? That's it. If we oversimplify this, right? Okay. So your skill with the training, it's right now actually, it's interesting. It's actually simulating conversations and correcting itself. So if it has more context, who are the people? You can be like, okay, those are the people, right? Okay. So we have 15 minutes left, and I promise you that I will build a landing page that will be gated on the website with this. So let's do it. So I'm starting a session. Oh, wow. It produced something for you. It visualized it. Eval review training map. So there is a prompt with a skill. There is an output. Output, a lot of text, right? Then there is a benchmark. So with skill, without skill, so it even kind of like showed you the results. So you don't need to be an expert here to create a system. You just need to think like how you can translate how you do it, explaining this to the system, you need to know these kind of like a few elements, right? That, for example, evals are very important because otherwise you will just get anything and you cannot verify that. And then it's just like a trial and error, and just like adjusting the system, right? But just to start, easy peasy, right? Then the hard part is to actually get it to where you want it to be. Okay, so we're creating the resource page. Okay. So I want you to create free resources page. As you know how to build one, so find it. And I will give you the context. It's about the second brain boilerplate that I built during the masterclass. So it needs to be resource page, gated, with information that you're getting access to this repo. And then later on, I will share with you the link to the repo. So do your magic, use the right skills, go for it. I hope it didn't. Something opened in the meantime. Okay. I need to copy. Go. Okay. So, the travel thing. We got it. It visualized it. It did even, oh, sorry, it's not the travel. No, it's the startup research. Okay, those are some startups that you should maybe invest in. It created a short list. It even like scored them. It found the stage, the status, the last round, and one line today. And I have no idea if this is right or not. This is like the job for you. But because it used my visualize HTML skill, because it looks like my style of the website, right? It already like tried to show you the output in this nice way. I don't know if you've seen this trend where people are stopped creating markdown files and then create visual HTML. Have you heard it? Yeah. So basically, this is another skill that I can add to the repo. LLMs produce a lot of markdown files, and they're like hard to read, right? But there is a skill that you can create. Mine is called visualize HTML, right? So render any document, plan, spec, code review, as a single self-contained HTML instead of a markdown. Use whenever to ask, and this is interesting. Use whenever the user asks to visualize or make it readable, right? So this is this part where you don't need to always explicitly say to use the skill, but if you have the system that kind of like knows that if we visualize stuff, we use this skill, then it will automatically do it, right? Show me an example of how you produce stuff. Whatever. Okay. So, booking, so the travel. How much authority should the concierge have around money booking? This is the biggest fork. So you see, it's kind of like starting to ask you questions, right? So we say that you book, it only researches, where should the trip data live? This is interesting. So remember when I told you that I have my own SUPA base that has like all the contacts and like the tasks, etc. I think more and more people will have their own databases without being a software engineer, because right now it's suggesting that you can start storing your travel data in your own database. That SUPA base is in the cloud, but you can also have a database that is just like living on your computer, right? So let's say that for now it's just a local folder. We're not going crazy. Flights, hotels, and that's it. It will be just like, oh, this is crazy. So it's telling about my wife. It knows that it's Ola. Okay, good. So it's me and Ola. Okay, let's go. Yeah, because we are in my repo. Okay, good. Oof. Okay, so we're creating the resources page. So again, I'm not a software engineer, and we'll create a landing page. So it's suggesting what should be the URL for the page. Yes, it's this one. Then what does the boilerplate actually has? It has this and this and this. Okay, next. Then the access page, yes. Okay, and do. et voila. And I need to give the repo access. So let me just do this. Boilerplate. Okay. Okay. Any other pain points or something is not clear? Go ahead.
To be as brief as possible. So, first question is versioning. So let's say you're starting working with your knowledge base, the skills and so forth, and you're progressing, but you want to go back because you go to a dead end, and you know, by refining too much, maybe you're not getting the results that you're looking for, and you want to go back. How you go about that?
Very good question. So I will show you. So if you use GitHub, GitHub basically tracks the history, right? So this is the history. I can go back. I can revert, right? So you don't have to upload everything to the cloud, GitHub, or anything else. It can stay local. But I strongly advise that it's a GitHub repository, private one, right? So no one can access it. And then you can just like, and it also, it's a very good habit of like committing work, right? Like software engineers are committing code, and you can be committing work. And then if you ask yourself, or if you ask your second brain, what did you do yesterday? You have a log of activities that you did, right? And it's also an interesting way to analyze any patterns, any like new things that you maybe missed, right?
Okay. So at the end of the day, you just commit and then you review.
Exactly.
Okay. Very good. And there's other people, so I'll come back.
Go ahead, yeah.
What do you think will happen if there is some NDA with a client sign up and this letter will get to the cloud?
Yeah, can you please
use,
repeat?
for example, use as a service, sign up some non-disclosure agreement
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
same client, and these letters are fetched to the model
Yeah.
at the end of the day. How do you think, from the legal and ethical perspective, it works with the second brain?
Yeah. So again, you can keep everything local on your machine, all your files and folders, right? Then you're deciding to which files and folders external tools have access to. By tools, it's also an LLM, right? So which file GPT 5.5 can read and which it cannot, right? So you can set such rules. But of course, then you're kind of like losing a lot of potential. So what you can do, you can anonymize everything, right? So it doesn't know like who's the client, what are the details, etc. So before it reaches the LLM, you just like redact everything, and it's just like some kind of like a random document, right? This is the easy version. The tougher version is that you have your local LLM, and that you're working with this local LLM on like some specific tasks. But I would say it's an overkill if it's not like a government top secret thing. It maybe if it is, then local LLM it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one small question.
Yeah.
So when you are giving the context and the major prompt, I think it's an art, but how do you give a prompt that it understands you sometimes? Because sometimes I have issues that I give it something and it's giving me something entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Like I am expecting something from the model or the LLM, and I think maybe my prompting skills are not that good. Or how do you prompt so that you can convey exactly what you want it to do?
Yeah. So I think it comes to this like context engineering question, because in the like LLM thinks that it did a great job, but actually you disagree. And I would say question why. So anytime you get the output that is not what you wanted, you can ask a question, why did you write this? What was the source of this information? Did you just like made it up, or did you find it somewhere? Because maybe it accessed this like specific document that tells that it needs to do this and that, but actually this document is outdated, right? So I would always like track the source of the information, right? And then if you're using a system like this, and assuming it's Cloud Code, in Cloud MD, you would have instructions. And one of the key things is that, maybe I will show you one thing. Here in the Cloud MD. Oh, this is actually super short, but it kind of like gives you the idea. So you're telling it where to go, where it needs to find information. This is super simple, but when I ask for help, first check whether the task needs current context from memory folder, messy inputs from inbox folder, reusable workflow from skills folder. And this logic basically means that you're creating something called progressive disclosure. Who heard about progressive disclosure? It basically means that if you want to read about this, go there. And you're creating like this gigantic kind of like a mind map, but just like in like text, that if you need to know what are our criteria to assess a startup, go to the scoring document. If you want to know what is our ideal customer profile, go and check here, right? So you need to start thinking in terms of like systems, right? That basically like will redirect AI to find the information, right? And if it doesn't find the information, it should tell you, right? And again, this is the rule that you can have in CloudMD that will basically be like, if you cannot find instruction on how to do X, tell me, and do not produce the fake output, right? So you can have some guardrails.
Sorry, so here it will ask you that whether it should go in these folders or it will just do it.
No, it should do it.
It will just do it
Yeah.
without asking, and
Yeah,
then it will ask you that.
Yeah,
Should
because
I
this
do
file is loaded into every single conversation. So if this file is perfect, if there's the one most important file that you have in your second brain, it's the file that is loaded into every single conversation. With Claude Code, it's CloudMD, right? And that's it. So as you can see, it's working for the past almost 8 minutes. It built an API to my sitemap. It basically started to build the website itself. I think it's somewhere, it's here. So you can see there is pages, resources, second brain, boilerplate access, adding this to navigation. I'm not doing anything, right? It created 9 files. Now it's doing the verification, type checks, resource tests, and then it will launch it to production, and I hope it will work. Let's see. We have 3 minutes, so probably we won't get there. So let me just take a look at where we were when we started. Okay, so that was our master prompt that you will have access to. And you will be able to build it yourself. So let's see when it will finish. It's still happening. So probably later today on the website, and I will show you where. There is a resources tab. Of course, you can go there right now because there's other stuff that you might want. All of them are free. Cloud Code tutorial, how to build an AA chief of staff, context engineering guides, that's what I would definitely look into. CloudMD, so iwoszapar.com, and you can get these resources. And then when my agents will finally finish their task, it's been 10 minutes, come on guys, it will just be on the website and you will be able to access it. As we're wrapping up, I wanted to encourage you to rethink how you work, because you need to basically catch up to a lot of people that are already doing this for a few years in some cases. It's fun, it's different, which can be scary, but it seems like there is no way out, so we need to embrace it. Hopefully, we'll be creating a human-first environment where we decide, and it helps us to live better lives. That's kind of like my really big hope. If there's anything how I can help, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn, or I will be here around for the next few days. Everything is done. It's committing the website to GitHub, so it should be live within the next 5 to 7 minutes.